Hey everybody, my name is Matthew Sambanis. I'm a certified public accountant. My firm is based in Long Island, New York, and today I'm going to speak to you about how to grow your accounting slash CPA firm slash tax and bookkeeping practice. My credentials to do that would be I started out with 0 clients in 2016, and now we have over 1,000 clients, and we do over 7 figures a year in revenue. It's myself, I have another CPA that works with me or for me, and 3 other part-time people. So we're very efficient, we're very lean, and we get a lot of quality work done for a lot of clients. So to help you, and this is me speaking freely. I have listed bullet points that I'm going to refer to, but otherwise I'm speaking freely. So bear with me if I stutter or stutter or do exactly what I'm doing. So the way I started out was I was in private for a while. Well, actually, in the beginning, I was in public at BDO, and then I was in private for a good amount of years, and then I went back into public in about 2016. And when I did that, I started to bring in business into the firm that I was working for at the time. And how I did that was I went on Facebook and I advertised and I said, hey, if you need your taxes done, let me know. And then I went through Facebook and I went through all local businesses and I started messaging the local businesses saying, hey, my firm is here. This is what I do. I'm an associate, blah, 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 blah. We'd love to help you. I'm a certified public accountant, been doing it for over X, Y, and Z years, etc. And sure as dog do, one client came in, then another client came in, and then somebody who I'd spoken to, I told them I was, back in public accounting and doing taxes and accounting, and they might not have used me, but then they referred their sister to me or their brother or their friend. So beginning was a lot of word of mouth and referrals and advertising on social media and doing direct marketing. So, and obviously, whatever I brought into the firm at that time, A, they were my clients, and B, I got paid a piece of the pie. And I wasn't worried if it was, more on their side or more on my side. I was happy to make an extra, quote, commission. And I was happy to, I like wheeling and dealing and being a salesperson. So that's one part of this that's very important. You need to learn sales. You need to learn how to be outgoing. You need to be gregarious. You need to learn how to be likable. You need to learn how to like people. At the end of the day, we're not accountants. We really want to look at ourselves like people who are salespeople who happen to practice accounting. That's my take on it. And yes, you can do very, very well just being an accountant, being pigeonholed and working for a big firm or even a medium-sized firm, or just working for yourself and having a few clients that you charge a lot of money. But if, in my experience, from what I've seen, if you want to grow a lot, you need to be outgoing and you need to be able to deal with people or set up a system that other people can handle it and you bring in the work and other people you hand it off to. But regardless, you need to be able to sell. So how do you do that? Treat each client like $1 million and that you always have time for them. And yes, this works up to a point that once you have so many clients, it's going to be difficult to do. And you have to then have associates who then take care of those clients for you or answer their calls or whatever the case may be. And I believe in prioritizing. How do you prioritize your clients? Well, if one client pays you $1,000 a month, and the other client pays you $1,000 for the year, then obviously who's ever paying you more is more of a priority. And this is true 99% of the time. I know the customer is always right. But at the end of the day, what your bottom line is what's going to dictate what's right for you. And if you can't handle the $1,000 client, if it's not worth your time, then part of your job is to do the next right thing and not take them on as a client or send them somewhere else or hand them off to an associate. So point is every time somebody has an interaction with you or your firm or one of your associates, you want to make sure it's a positive experience. Can't emphasize that enough. Another issue that I've seen that accountants tend to do is they nickel and dime people, or lawyers are known for this as well. When they charge by the phone call, they charge by the email, they charge by the text, even if it's one text and they send you a bill. To me, that is deplorable. It's disgusting. And it's not right morally. I know that's how people get paid. I know that's what you have to do. But if you're operating that inefficiently, that you have to bill people for replying to a text, you need to reassess yourself. That's just my opinion. And yes, I know certain people can be pain in the butts, and I have told 2 clients in 8 years out of thousands that, listen, every time you text me, email me, call me, and question me over this, that, and that for whatever your $1,000 or couple $100 a year fee is not, it's only going to fly so far. I only have so much patience. So in those rare circumstances, which are super few and far between, you do have to stand your ground and set up boundaries. So if you're starting out and you are looking to grow your firm, your accountant, bookkeeping, taxes, CPA firm, whatever, potato. And if it were me, how would I do it if I was starting from scratch? Well, A, I would go back to social media. B, I would go to friends and family. C, I would network with other accountants, financial planners, attorneys, and anybody in a niche industry that you feel like you can serve. My firm started out, in particular, we would do small tax return, small tax return, small tax return, and then we would do an offer and compromise, which was a multi-$1,000 fee, and it was really great. And that's actually how my firm grew, because I was willing to negotiate with the IRS, negotiate with New York State, and I would do a bang-up job for somebody and save them a ton of money. And they weren't always necessarily my tax client, but then they would go and tell their accountant what a great job I did. And a lot of accountants don't like to do offer and compromises. So then when they had somebody who had tax issues, they would just automatically refer them to me. So it sounds a little counterintuitive to work with an accountant, but if you're practicing something they don't practice, then it's worth it all day long. And if you can, by all means, send them somebody. For example, we don't do audits. We don't do reviews. Anytime somebody comes to me with that, I refer them to another CPA firm. Another great source, but you have to find the right person, is financial advisors and financial planners. It took me going through about 10 financial planners to find the right one. And when I did, it was a floodgate. It was a floodgate on both sides, in that I was able to refer him a ton of business. He was able to refer me a ton of business. He actually came on as a client. I went on as a client to him, and everybody's won. And it's just been a symbiotic relationship that we just continue to refer each other business. And there's not a week, if not a few times every week, that we refer people to each other. So if you can find the right financial advisor that you can network with and the shoe fits, definitely wear it. Other, good referral sources in my experience is a good attorney. I generally don't like to deal with attorneys. They generally have a bad reputation, but there are good attorneys out there, and I would look for attorneys that practice estate and trust planning, business contracts, and real estate. And believe it or not, divorce. I have a lot of attorneys that refer me businesses that have called me up with these offbeat tax questions, and then while I'm on the phone with them, they generally don't want to stick with their spouse's accountant, so they come on and they become a client for me. So attorneys as well are good referral sources. In terms of advertising and marketing, this is going to sound completely archaic, but mail-ins. One of the ways I grew my firm a lot was I would go to the county clerk's office, and I would look up people who owed taxes to the New York State and to the IRS in the form of liens or judgments, and I would send them a letter. And it was a very general, vague letter that just basically said in so many words, hey, I think you might have some back tax issues. My firm handles that. We do a lot of it. And if you'd like, we'd be happy to give you a complimentary consultation. The other thing that I'd also like to speak about is you give clients or potential clients a complimentary consultation. Don't charge them, and don't tell them it's free, because if you use the word free, then they feel like it's cheap. So it's a complimentary consultation. You review it, you see if you can help them out. If you can, great, and you give them the solution. And if you can't, okay, fine, then you need to refer them somewhere else. So another way to use mail-ins as getting new clients as well is to it's all public record when a house is sold. So whenever a new person moves into your particular area, you can have a letter sent to them saying, "Hey, I'm this tax accountant. My firm is right here, and we'd be happy to help you. Congratulations on the purchase of your new house." I personally haven't done that. I do know another CPA who did do that for years, and it grew his firm to, thousands of clients. So another good way of marketing and advertising is through that. And ultimately, your best leads, or not your best leads, but a lot of leads are going to come from your current clients and by taking care of them. And when we have somebody that refers us a bunch of business, we make sure that we take care of them. So I would stick with making sure your current clients are happy, and until you build it up enough that you don't need to do advertising or marketing, we would do both. I would say do advertising, do marketing, do social media, do mail-ins. Another great avenue would also be to do speeches in public for networking events. You could either set up the networking event, you could do it jointly, and case in point, one that I had done was with not a real estate company. My client would take photos of properties for realtors. So when they had a commercial building, they would hire this outside company that was my client to film with the drones, to take photos, to make it look like $1 million listing. And we're on Long Island, and a lot of times they are $1 million listings. So we held an event, and we invited a ton of realtors, all of whom are 1099 independent contractors. And, it was co-hosted by myself, which is a CPA firm. It was hosted by the outside photography company. There was a mortgage broker there. There was a real estate lawyer there. Because realtors it's all word of mouth and all networking. And I can't emphasize that enough, that that's just another great source of referrals. Another bullet point that I would strongly recommend is having a lead-in product. What's a lead-in product? Payroll, setting up corporations for clients, setting up LLCs for clients. It's a great way to A, make a lot of money, and B, also have a way that if somebody hires you for payroll, so we offer payroll, we use it through a third party, they only deal with accountants, so we then retail it to our end user. We set a cheap monthly fee, we charge by the employee, and it allows us to have a sticky relationship, and it allows us to keep our prices very low. And I can't tell you how many times we'd sign up somebody for our payroll services, and then something else would come up and they couldn't get in touch with their accountant, or they weren't happy with their accountant, or they had a tax question, and they end up calling us because we have that relationship. So the feeder is just as simple as you're doing payroll, you're doing incorporations, you're doing LLCs, you're doing taxes, you're doing accounting, you're doing bookkeeping, you're doing tax projections. It all ties in one to the other, and one feeds the other. So you want a feeder relationship, you want a feeder product. Another essential skill to learn is search engine optimization. That's whether you're using it on your website, whether you're using it with Google Maps, whether you're using it with YouTube. Search engine optimization is key. And I can't tell you how many clients, and I didn't think I would get any out of it, but I can't tell you how many clients I've gotten through Google Maps. And it'll be like you'll have a small client call, small client call, small client call, huge client, huge client, huge client. And it's just very offbeat, but Google Maps has been a great referral source for us. I know when I coded it, I set it up, I typed in everything, I used the keywords, and on my website, if you go to it, not telling you to go to it, thankfully we're very busy, but if you do, we have, accountants. So people type in accountants, tax preparers in X, Y, and Z. So surrounding towns, taxes, tax preparation Huntington, tax preparation Lyndhurst, tax preparation Levittown, tax preparation Hicksville, tax preparation, this town, that town, accounting services in this town, that town, and all the surrounding towns. So yes, you'll have a website with 30, 40, 50, 60 pages just dedicated to each surrounding area. So if you know what you're doing, you code it correctly, you set the titles, you set the subtitles, you set the headers, the footers, and you'll show up on Google and the phone will ring. Excuse me. Sorry about that. So Google Maps, optimizing your website is huge. I had a business that we used to use it for. I haven't had to use it for the firm. Every time I think I need to do advertising, I never do because we've just grown and grown and doubled and doubled and doubled and tripled. So, but Google Ads. I know there's tons of accountants who use it. I know there's tons of businesses that use it. I have a lot of clients that use it. And that is a great way to bring in new business as long as your keywords and your advertising skills are good, or you have somebody that's good that's doing it for you. Finally, I would say we just touched on a ton of topics, and this might be one of my longest videos, although it's July 4th, 2023. So I have a few ideas left for you. And like I said, bear with me. I'm just kind of reading off of my footnotes here, or notes. So another good idea as your clientele list grows is to stay in touch with your clients. Now, my firm offers monthly accounting, quarterly accounting, annual accounting. Obviously, we do taxes. We do offer and compromises. We have a ton of businesses. We set up a ton of corporations for people throughout the year. Same with the LLCs. We do it in New York State. We do it out of New York State. But stay in touch with them. I can't tell you that if I sat there today, tomorrow, and went through my client list and called up each one, I'm sure each one would think of 1, 2, or 3 things that they need in terms of additional work. So your current client list is a great gold mine as well. And again, if it were me and I were to go out and kind of hunt or look to bring in new client, which thankfully we have just the phone rings every day, sometimes multiple times a day with new clients being referred. But if I had to go out and hunt or look to bring in new clients, then this is going to sound tacky, but I know it works. I would actually put up street signs. I would put up signs on telephone poles. I would make sure that they didn't look tacky. I would do it in a very professional way. But I would put it up that says either taxes or back taxes or employee retention tax credit or incorporation services, whatever the case may be, with a phone number or a website that makes it easy to call or look you up and get you on the phone and obviously make sure you answer. That's what I would do. I would also look to host events. Again, would you do a tax planning event? Would you do an estate planning event? Would you do a trust event? Would you do... And don't have just you, have other speakers, hire, attorneys, hire financial planners, hire whatever the case may be that is geared towards whatever product you're selling in that particular industry, where it all jives and you can then have referrals and feeders. Networking groups are also good as well. I went to a few of them and same thing, I thought I was going to need them, and thankfully, my firm's just always stayed busy. We're busy all year round. And again, I kind of feel like the biggest thing is going to be getting the foundation, getting the ball rolling, sowing and reaping, being patient, don't be impulsive, don't be desperate, look to do the next right thing, always do the next right thing. If you ever have a client who's unhappy with your bill, I can tell you that in the 7 or 8 years that I've been doing this, I can think of 2 or 3 occasions where I've had a client who was unhappy with their bill, and when they were, I just said, okay, what do you think is fair? And I let them name their price. And I do it for 2 reasons. One is anytime they've always said more than I would have said, and 2, I'd rather keep them happy, I'd rather keep them coming back, and I'd rather get the referrals out of them. And if it's something that is that egregious and they're that cheap, which hasn't happened, then I would say pay me whatever you'd like and then go somewhere else next year. So that's not what you want to have happen. And anytime I've had an issue with a client, which again, thankfully is few and far between, but it's always been a stronger relationship after the fact by just doing the next right thing. So treat your clients like $1,000,000, look to grow it, look to grow your firm. I know it's your baby. I know the feeling. And set up systems early. That's one of the things that I did not do. I guess that would be another video for another day, how to set up your accounting firm. But this video is really geared towards how to grow your accounting firm, how to get started on your own. So again, it's going to be advertising, it's going to be word of mouth, it's going to be whatever you can do to get the ball rolling and finding out what works, finding out what doesn't work. I know people don't believe it, but if you look at who's still mailing you in the mail, whether it's Verizon, whether it's Google who uses paper mailings or whatever the case may be, people still use old snail mail to grow their businesses. So I wish you the best of luck. If you like this video, please comment, subscribe, and like it. There was no edits here. I did it straight through. If you'd like me to share on anything or speak on anything in particular, please let me know. And if I missed anything, please let me know. So thank you. Happy 4th of July, and have a great rest of the day.